Hello, welcome to Thirsty Thursdays with me, Jake Thurston. It's so great to have you and for us just to talk about what the Lord may have to quench our thirst on this wonderful Thursday today. Um, I went on a mission trip to Zambia for the past 2 weeks, and I was in the country for 10 days, and I was just blown away by the entire culture, by the team we worked with, by seeing how God worked. I felt so at home. It was an amazing experience to be in a place where community and where community and relationships are such a huge part of the culture there. It's clearly evident. And in the city we were in, the large majority of everyone there were Christians too. And so just seeing how Christ was a core part of a whole culture's or part of a whole city structure was awesome and so good to be there. And man, there are just so many stories that I could tell, so many things that I could talk about. But there's one story in particular that I really want to talk about, and that's the story of Stephen. His name is Stephen, and Stephen has been disabled his entire life. And in that culture, in African culture, if you were disabled, it was often thought that your parents did something that caused you to be disabled, and that your life is cursed, and that you can't get married, and that you can't have children because your children will ultimately be cursed and have a disability as well. And so me and two other members on our team went to go visit Stephen, just to encourage him, just and to pray with him, and to minister to him and everything. And Stephen turns out to be the happiest guy I think I have ever met. Oh my word. We show up to encourage him and to bless him, but he just turned around and talked about how faithful God has been. He's talked about how great God is and how he has given Stephen so many opportunities just to flourish and to take things day by day. And he told me his story and how he did get married and how he is the father of 7 beautiful children who are perfectly healthy, and just how God completely went against the culture's standards or ideas of what happens with people with his kind of a disability. And one of the coolest things he talked about is how he makes doormats for a living to make some money, but right now he doesn't have the supplies to make doormats, and so he's getting these very, very large grocery bags, as you can see in these pictures, and he cleans them and he sells those so that way people can have really great ways to carry their groceries back home. And I sit here and wonder, man, if Stephen is able to make the most of his life, where he doesn't have a lot, and he has to live with a disability and all these things, then, but yet he has an unwavering faith that can move mountains for him, and for him to see the absolute best in everything, and that he's truly trying to do everything he can to steward what the Lord has given him. Then we need to realize that we are blessed beyond we can imagine. And how often do we complain about petty things that just do not deserve being complained about? We have it so good here that God wants us to be good to those who don't have it so good. Here's somebody who barely has anything, and he is a better minister to his people around him than I am. So I just have to ask us, are we living life to the fullest? Are we letting Christ, who has come to give us life so that we may have life to the full, are we truly letting him give us the fullest life we can possibly have? Or are we content with complaining about whatever petty thing comes our way? I think Christ wants us to have a full life and to take the most of everything.